Okay, thank you very much. And first of all, I have to apologize. I need to keep the presentation in English. My German is I'm a bit rusty, so but I'm learning it. So, but anyway, so about multitude. Something happening. Yeah. So. Where I'm coming from. So originally I'm from Finland. I did my first work period in London and in investment banking. I worked for Merrill Lynch in London doing M&A and IPO issues. I was about 8 years in the banking, and after that I was about 8 years in the industry, sort of heading M&A departments, being a CFO in some smaller companies. Trainer myself. I started a fintech company in Finland, investment platform called Investor, which is nowadays also present here in Germany. But that's that. And first 1 year I've been now working for Multitude, starting as a head of mergers and acquisitions. But in the recently I took over I'm now heading the strategy and IR of Multitude. So this is the first time ever I'm presenting Multitude. So bear with me. Good. So there. So I'll just sort of first, actually, before I start, who has heard about Multitude before? 1, 2, 3. Yes, that's what I thought. We are not very well known, so that's why it's very important for us to build the awareness first. So I'm just talking first Multitude in brief, and then about our business units. And then I have the latest results, and our results are from the H1 of this year. We are actually releasing our results tomorrow morning. So timing-wise, this was quite sort of close, so I need to only speak about the H1 results now. But good. So about Multitude in general. So who we are. So we have been creating success stories in fintech for the last 2 decades. We were started in Finland, and we have a banking license EU-wide. And we have 3 business units currently. So we have Swedbank, which is, how should I put it? It's like a shopping and the financing app. It's like a digital banking application, like N26 here in Germany, or Revolut, if you've heard about those. Basically, you have a banking services in an app in your phone. So that's Swedbank. Then we have Ferratum. Ferratum is a consumer lending business. So we are lending business to people. Ferratum started really early stage, very sort of these short loans, these payday loans. But I think we have developed quite a lot since. We are more in the consumer lending business nowadays on that business side. Then we have Capitalbox, which is a bank, or it's an SME lending business. So we lend business for small and medium-sized enterprises in Europe. We have 700 people in the team. We are present in 19 countries. Our turnover was 214 million last year, and we have about 400,000 customers. And we are listed in Frankfurt. Here a little bit more about like how we look at the world from our own eyes, our vision and mission, our values. So as a really punchline, we see ourselves building the most valued financial ecosystem. We have different players already in our ecosystem, but we are building it further. And we have been focusing very much on serving the underserved segment. So I would say that many of you here in the room, you probably go to a big bank and you get full services, but then there are a lot of people and that amount of people is growing all the time who they are not so fortunate that they cannot go directly to a bank and get a loan. So you have a sort of this underserved segment in the market, and we are very much trying to focus on that front on many fronts. Good. And then we have our values: customer centricity, entrepreneurial spirit, candor, respect, and winning teams. I go forward. A little bit about our history. So our company was founded in 2005. We focused first on Finland and the Nordic region, and then we sort of started to look at the Baltic region, and then little by little we started to expand. Side you are looking at it, but I think we may have even be a little bit too conservative on that front. But that was based on the information we had at that time. And then the other thing is that we sold out a few countries from which which were not so profitable at us. So we sold the portfolio to a local players normally on those countries. So that was one other reason why the turnover sort of dropped down. And then you had still a turning point.
And then what strategy did you?
Oh yeah,
so adapting now.
Yeah, like what are we doing to grow now? So basically now we have started to. We are keeping still a conservative let's say the underwriting policy going forward, but I think we have a little bit started to open up that in some areas, and we have decided to sort of start to issue in more normal terms than before. Then there are a lot of developments, a lot of things happening in terms of, like, for example, they're automating our sales efforts, automating our what's it called, the customer service functions and so on. So a lot of development on the sort of back end going on, and of course focus on sales, focus more on sales. Yeah.
Okay, I think you can proceed.
Good.
Now I don't know which.
Okay, good. Let's. I wonder where I was actually. Maybe I was here. Okay. Sorry about that. So now we are back. Okay, so I think we went through this slide pretty much, and then if you will look at there's this interesting looking. Well, let's just leave it there. So just think. If you look at our business in general, so we drive it with our growth platform. We are talking about the multitude growth platform, and then we have 3 business units. So the multitude growth platform, which has very much these centralized functions, including our banking license, including our legal and regulatory know-how, and so on. I will go a little bit more deeper into this after a second. But still looking at these 3 business units, which we already a little bit discussed about. So Swedbank, 5% of sales, the Ferratum, which is the consumer lending, 85% of sales. So they are still the major business currently in our portfolio. And then we have Capital Box, which is the SME lending, about 10% of sales. So what I'm now going to do is I'm going to go through these 3 business units and also the growth platform. Actually, I'm going to look at the growth platform first, just to make sure that try to give you a picture, like how do we look at ourselves? What are the business units where we are in? But just before that, quick few slides about or one slide about our sort of share price development. We've had some bad years, and the COVID was one of the reasons. I just showed here the 12 months sort of trading, but now recently we started to see a bit light, and I think all the analysts who are covering us are saying buy. There's a question. Yes.
Just because you show the share price tracking, it's very rare that management buys shares for 12 billion euros. Is that right? Because we found it right now that you really bought shares for 12 million euros. Is that right?
12 million. Where? No, it was not that big. There was not that much. That was what. I think there was. Yeah, a lot of shares. So basically, we have published it out. We have this kind of share purchase plan where you can the share matching plan. So if the management or anybody in the company buys shares with the current price. You had two times a year this window when you can buy these shares, and if you buy shares, then after 2 years, the whatever you have bought, you will be matched. So you will get similar amount of shares. Let's say if you bought 100 shares now, you will get 100 shares after 2 years. That's like an incentive program which we have put in our annual report. We opened it up a little bit more on that front. So altogether, I think that we published what we purchased. The exact amount where it actually exactly fell, but it's about 150,000 euros so far, what I remember. I think they might have been a but it's still a full purchase of shares. It's not just granted, it's a full purchase. Yeah.
How does it work? Does the company buy at the same time and keep them for 2 years, or will they buy 2 years later and then grant it to the employees?
You mean we have an external, like an outside partner? Yeah, we have an external provider for that sort of service. To be honest, I don't know the exact logistics there, but it's sort of like the program is run by one local player. Okay, good. Yeah, so I think now looking at the timing was quite good for that window when that opened. So that's where we are currently. So now looking at the growth platform a little bit more. So what are we? So our vision is to create the most valued financial ecosystem, as I said earlier. And we feel that to create this ecosystem, we want to have this growth platform. We feel that there is this need for a growth platform in this ecosystem which will accelerate the growth of certain players. And basically, they are tried and tested benefits which have been working well, and we are happy to provide those to the fintech players. And we see that this growth platform enables fintech businesses to grow and scale faster than what they would otherwise have done without this kind of growth platform's help. And also in the future, this platform thinking will open new B2B revenue streams to us. If we look a little bit deeper, what I mean with this growth platform is that this is how we look at it ourselves internally. So we have a growth platform, basically central functions. We have a regulatory know-how, we have the tech know-how, we have a multitude bank, which is our backbone of these operations. We have collections, we have a lot of centralized functions. And all this growth platform provides benefits, which are like regulatory know-how, tech know-how, attractive funding, and cross-resourcing and selling. And we have been providing these services for our 3 business units for the last 17 years. So I tried and tested that we've been doing it. They have been benefiting from this thinking. But now, recently, we have started to sign up new external parties to benefit from this growth platform. So in terms of sort of creating this kind of ecosystem, there were 2 cases which we signed. One was the Green Finance, a consumer lending business from the Baltics, and another one was Esto Group, which is very, I guess you could compare it a little bit to Klarna, which is between the merchants and the buyers of online shops, providing services there. And we are sort of funding, helping them to fund that business. So we are using the funding very much as an attractive, let's say, honeypot to get more players into the ecosystem. And we are hopefully then, little by little, be able to sell new additional services for the ecosystem players from our platform, because we are doing it anyway ourselves. So the question is like, how do we commercialize them in the future? So we are hoping that this could, in the future, be interesting revenue stream for us. So thinking more platform-wise of what we have been doing so far. Good. Okay. Where? Like this? Ah, okay. Good. So yeah, and I think here are some quotes from the users of platform. Obviously, they are our Swedbank and Ferratum and the Kapitalbox, but also this Esto group, which I mentioned. But I think I'm not going to go through in detail these quotes, but the basic message is that what we said earlier, that it enables, helps, makes it faster. If you have a banking license, if you have a agreement with the MasterCard, so you can actually much faster put together a banking app like Swedbank in going forward. So these are the kind of benefits we are hoping to provide in the future. Okay, then we look at these business units quickly. Some who have heard about us, so have probably heard about them already. But if we look at Swedbank first, so as said already, it's a fast-growing shopping and financing app. So here it's very much sort of fast growth. It's been growing at about more than 80% or so per year in the recent years. It's of course started from very low, but this is the, let's say, the, how shall I say, the interface for customers to get an account. So this is the one, this is the N26 or Revolut type of application where you can have a banking app in the pocket. And for us, we are a little bit different player than maybe some of our competitors, is that we are pushing more towards sort of profitability, which some of the players have been doing quite a lot of fundraising and putting a lot of money in the marketing. Of course, we do as well, but we feel that we are trying to come closer to the profitable growth. It is still very much loss-making at the moment, but it's a newest addition to our portfolio. And it represents about 5% of the revenues, as said before. Yeah, and I think I'm not going to go through in the details. I think everybody will get these slides later. So if you have more detailed questions, I'm happy to answer, or then you can check out from the website. Then Ferratum. So Ferratum is the consumer lending business. This is like a very, let's say, stable player on consumer lending side, and they basically give loans up to 5,000 euros for periods up to 36 months. So if somebody wants to have a loan on the consumer lending side, this is the place where you get it like really fast, really quickly online. What else should I say? And yeah, this is about 85% of our sales, and the focus area is very much in the sort of customers with unplanned financial needs. So if you need to, I don't know, make some investment, you have a difficult situation, you want to sort of have a loan for up to 5,000 euros. This is a place where you can then compete and get a loan if you want. Good. But then one maybe interesting fact is that this business unit itself, it made an EBIT of 40.6 million in the last 12 months. So this is very sort of a cash generative business in our portfolio. Then we have Kapitalbox, which is the SME lending business. Here, our target customers are very small size companies. Often they are these like your cash generative older company, and those are our customers. We are not into startups or this kind of financing, but it's more sort of like a cash generative elder SME companies. And we started this business in 2015. We provide loans up to 350,000 euros for 50 months for the customers. And really the process of application takes about 5 minutes. You get your money on your bank account the same day. And we start to see more and more this feature where the small company instead of going to a traditional bank, which takes days or even weeks to get a loan, they just come here because it's much faster for their needs. And we've had some problems with Swedbank internally. We had to change our CEO, and that's why the numbers have not been looking very nice. But the new CEO will start at the beginning of next year. So we have a lot of hopes, high hopes for this business going forward. Good. Then I have I can show the H1 results, and then after that, I mean, of course, if you have questions in the meanwhile, I'm happy to answer as well. But as said before, so we are actually releasing our results tomorrow. So you have the Q3 results coming tomorrow morning for further information, further continuation for the story. Good. So just looking at the multi group as in the number wise, quarterly wise, I think the key here is that if you look at the EBIT, I think the Q4 was our, let's say, at least in our own views, seemed to be the lowest point where we were. And now we are sort of, at least it looks like we are in a nice trajectory going forward. We have our guidance is in 30 million euros EBIT. And currently that we gave that, reinforced that in H1 reports. So there's no, we haven't said anything else. So that stays in place, the guidance. And our, so I think then our portfolio has grown quite nicely, and our payment behavior has been quite robust. So the cash position is very much in according to our expectations. Good. And then I'll still quickly show the Swedbank, especially as you see that what is the profile here. So you see the revenues and then you see the EBIT there. So this is quite a lot eating the EBIT, what the Ferratum is then doing. So it's a little bit sort of portfolio approach on our side. Swedbank has about 60,000 customers currently. They're operating in 5 markets with the 3 products. And then last, Ferratum here. So they are operating in 50 markets, very stable operations, as said. EBIT has been improving as well now in the recent quarters, and the company is little by little sort of solidly going forward, as so to say. So I think that was it. That was my last. No, sorry, I forgot. I got distracted because I had the 5 minutes sign coming up there, so I had to be fast. Yeah, so basically on the capital book still, we are in a turnaround situation. We are going back to fast growth and profitability, but currently we are still in the turnaround. So as you see in the numbers, they are not very good at the moment on our side. But we are very hopeful that we have the new CEO now starting at the beginning of next year. And I think there are a lot of automation, a lot of process development has been done at the background. So we are hoping that we are coming up strong once we have a leader for the team. But that was it from my side. I would be happy to answer any questions for you.
Thank you very much for the insights.
Yes, first question.
Can you please comment the share price? Because it seems to me that the company has a valuation of 2 times EBIT. Is this right?
Yeah, yeah. It's I mean, my personal view is that it's very low, but I think that because I'm now looking at from the communication and the IR side of things. So my own personal feeling is that we have been very conservative in just telling who we are. The awareness of who is Multitude, what do we do? It's non-existent. Like here was like 3 people who raised their hand and said, they have heard about multitude. So I think we are very much in that that phase where sort of like I think increasing the awareness, increasing that just telling who we are. So I think it increases the volume.
Can you please maybe give us a little bit an idea about the net profit? What does 30 million mean in net profit?
So if you look at the net profit, yeah, I don't have the net profit numbers here now, but yeah. So we were very much in the like last year we were very much in the like plus minus zero situation, and of course that influenced the share price as well. Now as you see here, the EBIT has started to, well, not here but but in the, let's say, go to the group's slide. So here you see that it's something is happening. So we are going to the right direction. But our guidance is only the EBIT. So I cannot really, unfortunately, I cannot really go in detail now on what it means on a net income side. But I suggest that you come to listen to the earnings call tomorrow.
So it was not a good idea to rename the Raum into multitude because nobody knows about it.
I think
why was that decision?
I think because we had four business units, so it started to become very confusing. Like, what is Ferratum? What is like? So this is a Ferratum SME business. Like, well, okay, so, yeah. So we wanted to have a fresh start. Like, Capital Box is the so SME business, for example, and this Sweep Bank, this mobile app. We thought that, I mean, if you put that as Ferratum as well, that's it's confusing, I think. So I think the idea was that we want to sort of make clear what are the business units we have. But I think that maybe now looking back, our error was that we should have been more talkative. We should have talked about it and tell people like what is multitude and what is Ferratum, what is. We didn't really do that. So unfortunately, so. But I still think it was a good idea to change the brand, but I think we just have to now talk more about it. Okay.
Can you say something about the interest rates you asked from the private customers and from the SMEs?
So interest rates, well, the consumer lending business, that those are, I mean, let's say if you go to a bank, you take a mortgage, it's low, but if you take a consumer lending, it's higher. So here we are higher than the traditional banks, but we haven't come too much out of the exact numbers in the past, so I cannot comment too in detail about that. But I guess in general, it's very fast. You get it really fast, so there's a cost for that. So it's more expensive, and the same thing for SME lending as well.
And how much more? 1%, 2%, or the double?
Unfortunately, I cannot say the exact numbers unless we have and I had to remind you that I have been 1 month in the IR role, so I don't have all the details yet. So I don't want to say something what we had earlier said.
What is the average amount of money you lend to private people or to small businesses? Because in almost every newspaper, you now read about the higher risk of bankruptcy. Of private people and small businesses going out of business because of the energy prices and all that must affect dramatically your business.
Well, I mean, to be honest, it hasn't. So far, it hasn't. So I think one reason is also this, that we were very conservative after the COVID. I think we put quite a lot of buffers in our system, basically, to whom do we lend money. And I think now, like at least currently, when you look at the data, I think we are still going the same way as before. So we haven't really seen so much. But of course, there may be there's always a risk in the background. So far, we haven't really seen so much sort of changes there. One thing is maybe on the SME side. I think we are over time here now, but on the SME side, there's of course, there could be a little bit more depending on what the SME businesses are, because there could be bankruptcies coming at some point. So we haven't seen them yet, but of course, there may be risk. Yeah.
So due to the technical issues, I think we still have some more minutes.
Okay.
No worries.
Okay.
Are there any more questions?
You ask for some higher interest rate.
Yeah.
As the bank, and you ask for which the service fee you ask extra, or is it this little more interest rate as the bank is your earning, or is it the extra fee which you take from the customer?
So in general, the fees are higher than in, like, if you would go to a bank. But then one thing what you had to,
The interest rate and the fees are the same.
sorry,
The fee
yeah.
is the same as the interest rate. You have a higher interest rate,
Yeah.
and you have an extra to charge something extra. Yeah?
I mean,
For your work.
I think
Or not.
I mean, like if you would go to a bank, there may be a processing fee, and there may be an interest fee. So we have very similar, very transparent. I mean, if you go on our website, you can see exactly how they are. So I think what maybe one explanation for this like a higher interest rates is that, let's say if somebody takes, I don't know, €1,000 loan, and then they pay what could they pay if there's a higher fee. Let's say, I'm just like hypothetically saying numbers. What if it was be 5%? So if you get 1 month loan with 5%, so if you annualize the 5%, so of course if you have 12 months, so that sounds really big, right? Whereas then if you need money for €1,000 for 1 month, because I don't know, your salary is coming or something is coming next month, so the processing fees, if you would go to normally bank and you would normally sort of amortize that 12 months, so you sort of like now you're putting it into 1 month, so there's one explanation as well for this. And just at some point I mean, you have to have at least some sort of processing fee for the transactions. Hopefully that answered your question. Yeah.
I am just, for example, for loan for client, okay, you create so other asset packets, so loans in order to sell so investor. For example, if you have so 1,000 clients with a 5,000 euro, okay, or 5 million euro. Yeah. You can create a loan. Yeah. In order to sell institutional clients the phone. This asset package
I mean, as we are a bank, so we take a lot of deposits in. So we can have a lot of deposits in. We finance a lot our business with deposits, but then also we have bonds out, multitude bonds. How we have the longer term money in there. I think now I don't know too much about the history, like have we been so active there, but I think, I mean, we're always happy to find a new sources of financing for our business, as long as they are okay priced. So we can talk maybe later.
Okay, I think that brings us to the end. Thank you very much again, and all the best for the future.
Thank you. Thank you very much.